Hi folks, Foster here. And today I want to share with you about three bold activists in the financial arena who have done extensive research and are showing up with a level of spunk and strategy and courage that frankly just lights me up. So I wanted to tell you about it. They're from three different areas: South Africa, the US, and Ireland. But the corruption that they're confronting is similar to one another and most likely to what's going on wherever you live. First, Michael Tellinger is a famous researcher into ancient cultures from South Africa. And when he saw his neighbors losing their homes and having their money stolen by the banks, who actually put up nothing in the deals, he simply couldn't stand it anymore. Michael knew how it worked, and he was actually willing to risk his own property to challenge the fraud. When they moved to foreclose on him, Tellinger went to court and cited 7 fraudulent practices that the banks were engaged in, such as making up money out of nothing, loaning it at interest, and then selling the house loans as securities while still claiming to retain ownership of the houses themselves. Michael personally delivered 2 hours of solid evidence in a courtroom full of people. The banks admitted to virtually every one of his allegations, and then he watched in horror as the judge pulled out a decision that he'd clearly prepared earlier and read it out. No deliberation, no reasoning, clearly a premeditated ruling to let the banks take Michael's land. Now here's a very cool part of the strategy here. Even though that decision went against him, now he's the one bringing charges against the banks themselves for the fraudulent practices to which they've already admitted in the court records. Tellinger has filed criminal charges against major South African banks and their directors and CEOs for engaging in a secret process called securitization, which he claims has made it possible for the banks to grab people's hard-earned real wealth while they just entered numbers in a computer. Check the link below for a conversation I had recently with Michael about his bold and brilliant activities and how they fit in with the Thrive solution. Our second courageous pioneer is Rebecca Campbell from Seattle. When she saw her neighbors getting laid off and losing their homes, she knew there were other remedies, as there are in just about all of our cities. The officials weren't disclosing the millions held in the so-called rainy day fund, the CAFRs, which I've described in an earlier blog that we link to again below. Nor were they considering creating a state public banking system like the one that's worked successfully for years in North Dakota. These and other possibilities, she claims, could easily, effectively address the state's financial duress, yet they refused to consider them. Rebecca calls it denial of remedy and complicity in criminal conspiracy. One of the interesting things about Rebecca is that she's not only calling out the politicians, but also the media for ignoring the real story and her fellow citizens for denying or passively accepting the destruction of so many lives. Campbell has personally hand-delivered a set of criminal and civil charges against government officials as well as media corporations in her area of Washington State for perpetrating systemic financial fraud and treason. And finally, check out a recent video message from Marcus McEwen from Ireland. He's the author of a new book, How the Banks Are Screwing You and What You Can Do About It. McEwen says he's gone public with this book to call Ireland into an action that will have a great impact. He recommends that in vast numbers, people just stop paying the banks, no negotiations. And he says that it seems to be working. These three bold individuals are truly pioneers, exploring new territories on behalf of all of us. Now, you and I each have our own challenges, uniquely, and opportunities in our own hero's journey. But I hope you'll spend some time diving into the links below to learn more about what these three have been doing, and maybe they'll inspire you the same way they have me. And may I remind you, meanwhile, be informed, be nonviolent, and be relentless. Thanks. Bye for now.